everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I am filming my 30-week update, and it probably seems like I've gone from week 29 to week 30 really quickly, and that essentially is because I have, because I filmed week 29 at the weekend and it's Tuesday now, and this is actually the day that I change over weeks. And the reason why I wanted to get it down is because this has been like quite a good day really, and it's one that I want to get down while it's fresh in my head and things like that. So the first thing that I'll get started with, and I'm not going to go into this loads on here because I've done a blog post about it and it's a very technical thing to try and explain, but when I was a baby I was actually born with a syndrome called Marshall-Stickler syndrome, and with that I was born with a cleft palate, and my parents didn't know this at the time. Like, obviously I'd had scans but nothing had been detected, so I was born via emergency C-section when I was 10 days overdue. And the reason why my mum had gone in for an emergency C-section is because I was face presentation. So rather than coming out like this, I was trying to come out like this, which is really dangerous for mother and baby because obviously this is a lot bigger to go through that kind of hole, and obviously it could have broken my neck or things like that. So I was rushed in for emergency C-section because I was effectively stuck. And it wasn't until I was born that they noticed that I was having like trouble breathing, and they found out straight away that I had a cleft palate. Over the 3 following days I almost died like 3 times because they just couldn't keep my airways open, and I was diagnosed with Marshall-Stickler syndrome. Now if you want to know more about that, then please click the blog that I'll link down below, but it's essentially a syndrome that has an effect on the way that like you develop basically. So from like some of the things that are characteristic of the syndrome would be having really big eyes, which I have, quite a flat face and a flat profile, so I'm sure you've probably noticed it before, but there's not really much to me from the side. And as well as that, there are joint issues like double jointedness is one of them, arthritis is another, both of which I have. And you can have hearing difficulties, sight difficulties, and they can be quite extreme to quite mild. Now my case is quite mild, so while I've had loads of things as a child like wrong with me, like I had glasses, I had a hearing aid, I've had orthopedic shoes, I've had speech therapy, I was diagnosed with premature arthritis, all of that jazz. I am as an adult relatively like a healthy individual, and obviously that's had some effect on the way I am as a person now and stuff. But if you want to find out more, read the blog post below because it is so technical to get into and I don't want to talk about genes and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because obviously with this syndrome there is a 1 in 2 or 50% chance of me passing this on to my children. So obviously those chances reset themselves every time. Bill was born absolutely healthy, and it was a sweet relief when he was placed on my chest and he was breathing and he was fine and there was absolutely nothing wrong with him. But obviously with every baby it's a new chance, it's a new like set of odds, and we've been under consultant care with this little girl just to check her development. So I've had a couple of extra scans to check that everything's developing normally, and my final scan was my growth scan today at 30 weeks. And it's one of those things where like I know that this isn't life-threatening. I mean, the issues I had when I was first born was because it was 28 years ago and they didn't have the medical like, you know, technology or the knowledge that they do today, and B, you know, they just weren't prepared for it. They didn't know that I was going to come out like that, and you don't really know what state your baby is going to be born in until they are born. So there is still every chance that she may be born and there might be some problems that she has, and we will deal with them, but having a bit of medical faith on our side is why we have these extra scans. So I have my scan today and it seemed like it was really good news, and I'm trying not to get like, not upset, but you know when you have that feeling of relief and you feel like you want to cry because you're just like, oh thank God everything's okay. But yeah, everything looks fine and we got to see her again. We didn't get to have a scan photo this time because they've changed the like rules with that, I guess. When I had this scan with Bill, I got an extra photo which was pretty much just his profile, but we didn't get one with her, but we did get to see all of her body again, and she was measured, and we have like an estimated fetal weight and everything, which I'll go into in a moment. But I saw the consultant afterwards, and she's the same consultant that I had when I was pregnant with William, and she discharged us, so we're back onto community care now, which is brilliant. And I just came out feeling really relieved, because it's been something that's weighing on my mind, but one of those things that you shove to the back of your mind and you try not to think about it and just hope for the best. But yeah, she's okay. So with the rest of that appointment, obviously I found out her weight, what they were expecting it to be, and I had my whooping cough vaccine in this arm. Actually, I don't know why I'm touching this one, it really stung, but I'm glad I had that, because obviously if a baby you know, catches whooping cough, then it can be extremely bad for them, in some cases fatal. So obviously I had that jab done. And they measured my fundal height and told me her weight. So in my 28-week update, the last time I saw a midwife, I was measuring like a week behind, which like baffled you and me, because I thought I had a fairly decent sized bump. But this time they measured me, and I'm spot on 30 weeks today, but I was measuring at 32 weeks. So I don't know what's happened in the last 2 weeks, but it appears that I'm growing like the BFG, because her estimated weight at this stage is 3 pounds and 6 ounces, and she's meant to be around 2 pounds 8 ounces. So according to the midwife and the sonographer and the consultant, they were like, oh, it's still around the 50% mark, like, you know, 50th centile, so she's fine, but she's definitely like bigger than average for that. So that's made me a little bit wary, because I didn't have that weight kind of update with Bill. Bill was born at 8 pounds and 6 ounces at 13 days late, so he's essentially 42 weeks, and that was fairly decent size. He probably would have been about 7 pounds 6 on his due date. So I'm expecting that if she goes overdue, will be about £9, probably £9.6ish maybe. But she could be completely less. We all know that sometimes this can be a bit iffy, and it's just an estimation, but it seemed like quite a jump from £2.8 to what she should be, like, to £3.6, which is mental. But that went really well, and I just feel really good, and that's why I wanted to get all this down now. So sorry about the ramble. Another update is that heartburn wise, my consultant has prescribed me omeprazole, I don't know how you say that, but that's what I've got, and I am to take one of these once a day, so that should hopefully help, which was really handy. So if you are looking for a solution, then ask your midwife or consultant or doctor to try and prescribe you some of those, and we will see if they work. But on to the rest of the update really quickly. So in terms of symptoms, I am obviously having heartburn. That's a given, that's fine, I'm used to that, and I have definitely started to feel a lot more tired now, and it's the sort where it's mainly when I first wake up in the morning and I really have to force myself out of bed. And I think if you've been pregnant before, you've got children, it's very much like trying to get out of bed after a few nights, like bad nights with a newborn. It's that kind of feeling where your eyes are sore and you're just fuzzy headed, and it's getting harder. And I noticed a massive difference compared to when I was pregnant with Bill, because I'm running around after him. I'm doing a lot of work on the house at the moment. I'm working full time, and then I'm doing all this like vlog and blog work as well, and I know I'm not making things easier for myself, but at the same time I'm kind of doing all of this so our future when she's here is going to be much easier, which is what I'd rather do, to be honest. So I'm just taking one day at a time, and I'm not too bad. My memory's going a bit fuzzy though, and I don't know if that's just a result of tiredness, but like yesterday I was writing down like the date at work, and I wrote it was 2014, and I don't know, like it's not even like I got it wrong like to 2050. I just plucked a random year out of my head. So little things like that keep happening a lot, and I keep forgetting where things are, which is a little bit annoying, but other than that, it's fine. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. As I mentioned in my last update, I ordered a hypnobirthing book which has arrived, so I did feature it in that one, but this is the one I got, and it's the Hypnobirthing book by Catherine Graves, and I have been reading it on the train, and I'm up to about chapter 5 at the moment, and I know that this is like, you know, I've not finished it yet by any means, but I'm really enjoying it. It's like, I was a bit worried it was going to be a bit fluffy and a bit like, not hippie-ish, because that's the wrong word, like, you know, a bit new age and a bit different, and I thought that I wouldn't really find any logic in it, but I'm reading it and I'm actually finding everything that she's saying really insightful, and like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It also comes with a CD, which I have yet to use because it's not really normal to have a CD player anymore, so that's a bit awkward because I put it in the PlayStation, but that's it, so I don't really know what to do with it. But my oh, I've also ordered some tracks from the London School of Hypnobirthing, which I've like had a quick listen to, but not in like the right state. But my friend actually sent me a track that she's used, and I've really been enjoying that, and I've done it about 3 times now. And I just, the first time I did it was the first time I slept through in overnight, like for the first time in about 3 months. So I didn't get up to go to the toilet or anything, and I don't think it was a coincidence, and my mood's been a lot better and I felt a lot calmer, and it's amazing how quickly it's had an effect on me, and I can be pretty cynical about things like this, so it's making me feel really positive. I am still like a bit nervous about the birth, but I'm really going to apply myself to this and see what happens. So yeah, if you're curious and you're looking into it, then I can definitely recommend this book. And what else have I put on my notes? Oh, she's head down. I forgot to say she's finally head down, which is amazing, and I know that that could change, but I actually think I experienced her move head down, because when I was actually trying the first like time of a hypnobirthing track, I had to stop partway through because I was so relaxed that I could just feel everything, and I looked under the duvet and my belly like went right up and went really hard, and I could feel it like moving, and then all of a sudden it like flopped back down again. And since then she seems to be in that same position, and her movements are like much more they're different, if that makes sense. Like I was feeling a lot of movement down below, and now I'm feeling like more up here, and I'm getting like lightning crotch, so I think her head is definitely nearer to that area now. And I can finally say I think that we're done with buying baby stuff for the most part. We don't really need anything else, and that is a sweet relief. So I think that's kind of all I've got to update on. It was a bit of a rambly one, but I wanted to get it down, and I think it's important to talk about like medical conditions and things like that, because you know, a lot of the time you watch these videos and they are relatively straightforward, and you know, they're not always sometimes, and I've not really spoken about it before because I just think like nobody's ever going to know what Marshall-Stickler syndrome is or what it's going to mean, but I just feel really relieved, and I feel really confident now, like that she's going to be okay, and I just can't wait to meet her. So I'm going to stop talking, cut this short now, and I will show you my belly. So this is my measuring 2 week ahead belly with a 3.6 pound baby in there. That's what it looks like with clothes on anyway, and this is what it looks like naked. And you know what, it's pretty big, isn't it? I think she must have had a growth spurt in this last week or so, because it's heavy and it's hard, and I can't get over it. Also, my belly button's still doing that thing where like you can see it's trying to sort of, it's never going to pop, I don't think, it's too deep, but it's definitely doing something. So yeah, that is the belly for 30 weeks. So yeah, thank you so much for watching as always. If you've got any questions, whether or not they're related to like my syndrome, cleft palate, like growth scans, pregnancy in general, hypnobirthing, whatever it is, please leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.